Hi, everybody. Welcome to Queers and Soaps. My name is Derek, and today I'm joined by Karen, and I'm joined by Tommy.
Hi.
And we're going to be discussing what happens on GH this week. We're discussing episodes that aired from March 10th to 14th, 2025. Tommy will roll the credits, and we'll get right into it. All right, guys, I'm a little under the weather, so bear with me.
At least your voice didn't give out.
Yeah.
It's fine. I just feel very achy and tired, and it's not. Okay, so we'll start with Jordan and Isaiah. We're still at Jordan's apartment, and he tells Jordan he still wants to get to know her, and although he is worried about her getting closer to Sidwell. Then we're going to go to Ned and Lois. Ned is still confused why Lois is batting for Sonny with his educational trust. Lois suggests that Sonny can relate to Gio because of his background, and that's why he would want to help Gio.
Yeah, and Ned's like, but we're Quartermains. We're rich as hell, and we could pay for him, and we don't have any mob ties, so this doesn't make any sense.
Right, it doesn't.
So does everybody know now who Gio is?
No one knows.
No one knows? Okay.
No one knows.
Only the audience for like ever.
Okay.
Yeah. Tracy is at the Quartermain crap, and Drew and Martin show up with the county surveyor. Tracy receives a court order that she tears up. There's Tracy calls the cops, and in comes Chase.
The funny thing about this, right, is that surveyor, he's like, I haven't finished surveying. It looks like the crypt might be over. Looks like. And yet Drew already has a court order. How does he have that court order without any proof? Yeah,
there's really no way he could because they haven't completed the survey yet of the land.
The guy's still there. So yeah, like this just feels like a lot of congressional overreach, which we're all dealing with in the real world.
Yeah. So Emma and Drew show up, and Emma defends Tracy and starts recording a video on her phone, making Drew look like he was harassing his constituents, which was so much fun. And I think everyone liked Emma.
I know. I have not liked Emma since she came on. I don't like this brat persona that they've given her, which it looks like they're giving up on because...
Yeah, I think I know we don't like it. So
yeah, they're sliding away from it now, which is good.
Well, Emma should be written like Robin, because she's Robin's daughter.
She doesn't have to be Robin. She either has to be exactly like Robin or the opposite of Robin. Like there's a whole host of personalities in between.
Yeah. But it's not working with her as a brat, though.
She should be a hoe like her father and her grandfather.
That would be really funny, actually.
Because Noah Drake was a hoe.
Sex positive.
Yeah.
So Ned finds out what's going on, and he and Lois join the group outside. Let's see. Tracy whacks the equipment guy. The equipment from the guy, and
Drew she doesn't touch him. She just knocks the piece of equipment out of his hand.
Drew claims assault, which is true.
And he actually indicates to the guy that he should say yes on the assault because the guy was about to say no, it's no big deal.
Yeah,
and then he gets the nod from Drew.
Martin tells the surveyor to press charges, which he does, and Chase is forced to arrest Tracy.
Sure, Chase.
Okay, this is what I have to say about this. I think this storyline is so disrespectful to the Quartermain legacy. I do not like it. It's so hard to watch Lila and Edward's remains be taunted.
Do you know why I find it disrespectful?
Why do you find it disrespectful?
Because they keep indicating that this was a mistake that Edward made. Yeah. And that house was purchased by Alan and constructed for Monica for their wedding. Edward had nothing to do with the purchasing or construction of anything.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So it's wrong. The information is just wrong. That crypt didn't even exist until Lila died.
I know
they would have known.
I noticed some other continuity issues.
There's a lot of continuity errors where they think we don't remember that the Quartermains showed up in the 70s. Like we know they showed up in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And not all of them at once. We started with Alan and then Monica, and then the family came, I think, almost in 80 when Lila and Edward showed up.
Right. Okay, so we'll move on to Maxie. Maxie tells Dante that Lulu was still in love with him before she collapsed after the incident at the floating rib. This takes Dante by surprise.
Really, Dante? Really? He's a detective.
Yeah.
Does this new Lulu have chemistry with Dante?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Meanwhile, in Brooklyn, and Lulu's confrontation continues. Lulu thinks that Dante has the right to know that he has a son. Brooklyn begs her to stay quiet because she doesn't want to impede on the life of her own child. So these scenes were great. They both did a fantastic job. Like Amanda Seton, I think, killed it here. Like she was just so like heart-wrenching performance by her.
It's really emotional to see her reliving a traumatic event that they retconned into her life. And she's doing such a great job. This was not a part of her arc at all.
It's
and
like
now
it always happened to her, but it didn't.
It didn't. That's fine. They do this all the time. I mean, they did that with the invention of Drew, which I was just talking to my mom about how the timelines for that whole scenario don't make a lick of sense. But yeah, so the same thing happens here, and she's killing it. Like she's crying, she's emotional. She really is suffering over the fact that she made this decision when she was a literal teenager. And Lulu is treating her as if she made the decision as a whole grown woman. And that's why it doesn't make any sense. You can't hold a 16-year-old to the standard of an adult, especially when the parents involved in the scenario were probably leading her towards whatever decision she made at the time. And also with Lulu having gone through the same thing and choosing the abortion option over the giving the child up for adoption, it seems like they have more in common than they do apart, but Lulu can't see it because all she can see is Dante's being hurt by this, and I'm in love with Dante, and Brooklyn is the source of all my problems from 4 years ago.
From 20 years ago, or
I know, right?
Oh, that was. She can't get over this.
She can't get over it.
Is this all rooted in when like Lulu was pregnant with Dylan's baby? Like
yes,
like
yes.
that storyline.
They did bring that up last week.
They brought it up, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's not fair that Lulu thinks that she's the arbiter of what's moral in this scenario when she was in the exact same position and made the best decision for herself. And she thinks she's high and mighty because she told Dylan and Brooklyn didn't tell Dante. And Brooklyn makes a great point. She says, if I told Dante, then he got to make the decision for the rest of my life. And how is that fair?
Yeah. Sure.
Did Lulu have that baby, or did
she had an abortion? It was a big storyline. She decided to have an abortion, and it was the correct decision.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, Lulu was, or I think this was last week, but Lulu was saying to Brooklyn was saying to Lulu that you made the right decision for you, and I made the right decision for me.
And Bobby made the right decision with Carly. Like, these are things that happen to women, and Lulu is not being understanding at all because of how she feels about Dante. It's the only reason she's being the way she is about this.
Right. Lulu agrees to keep quiet for now, and then an angry Brooklyn texts Lois and tells her to come see her immediately.
Yeah.
Brooklyn confronts Lois, who looks terrified, thinking that she knows the truth.
About Gio.
Yes, about Gio.
Yeah.
All right.
But she doesn't. She now knows she has a son. She didn't know she had a son. She found that out from Lulu.
Right.
So now she's like, I had a son. And she's like, oh, don't act like you didn't know. I mean, this poor girl didn't know anything. She never even held her baby. She was a child when she had a baby. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So Brooklyn and Lois are then interrupted by the return of Gloria, Ellen Travolta. That's Lois's mom, Tommy. I don't know if you're familiar with her.
No, I don't know.
You should be. Around the time frame you're in with Lois on, she shows up soon.
We haven't gotten Lois yet.
Lois isn't on yet.
When Lois shows up, her mother is not far behind. You'll get to meet both Cirillos.
Gloria says that she knows about the baby, and she persuaded Lois to consult Martin. Lois feels guilty, and Gloria urges her to keep the truth from Brooklyn at all costs. So, all right, then we'll get to Buenos Aires. Jason and Anna are in Buenos Aires. They're parked outside in a car where Valentine and Charlotte are. Anna realizes that the WCB is about to make their move against Valentine, so they go in and they knock out 2 agents, and then they get Charlotte out of there. Valentine and Charlotte say goodbye, and then Valentine and Anna also have a heartfelt goodbye as well. So that was really
This was awesome.
yes.
They are staking out the place, and inside you see Charlotte and Valentine are talking, and Charlotte keeps trying to peek out the curtains, and he's like, "What are you doing? Stop it!" And he explains to her because she thinks her mother is coming, and he's like, "I texted your mother, like I texted your brother as you, so that your mother would come, so that you can go with her because I'm probably going to get killed, so I got to get you out of here." And she's like, "I don't want to leave you, Papa," because they're codependent. And they come crashing in. The WSB attacks, and they're like, it's a whole, everybody's wearing black. It's fatigues and fighting and stuff. And they get knocked unconscious. And Charlotte doesn't want to go with them. She wants to stay with her father. Right. And he's like, literally, they're going to kill me. Go home. And she's like, okay. Yeah. And then, so Jason takes Charlotte out, and Anna and Valentine talk, and they have a beautiful conversation where he's like, "Remember when you thought you loved me?" And she's like, "Thought? I did love you." And she's like, "Don't do this. Come back with us. Turn yourself in. Put yourself in my hands. I'll get you. I'll do the best I can for you." And he's like, No, I tried to kill Jack. It's gone too far for that. And They just are really like still in love with each other. And they both leave. And Charlotte blames Anna, saying that she wouldn't save Papa. And Jason is like, "Are you kidding me? She's the reason he got away the last time." And she's probably in there trying to convince him to come with us now.
Yeah.
But, Charlotte still hates Anna.
I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. At the PCPD in the interrogation room, Drew bickers with Tracy. Chase turns to Laura for help, who convinces Drew to drop the charges against Tracy.
Yeah, Laura comes in and says, "This is stupid."
Yeah.
Tracy is a prominent socialite. She donates to every cause in town. She's cantankerous, but people love her, and you look like you're using your office to screw her. And nobody's going to like that, so knock it off and let her go home. And I was like, yes, Laura, absolutely. Gina Francis is great this week.
Kevin around by any chance?
No.
He runs a casino on a different show.
Well, sometimes I'm not too sure he's on contract on the other show, so maybe he could do
I don't think he's contract anywhere. I think John Lindstrom shows up where he wants to show up, and that's all good.
Right.
I'm happy to see him wherever he ends up. I love John Lindstrom.
Me too. Okay, so I want to talk about the steam room with Dante and Chase. I have no idea what happened in that scene. I was too busy looking at them.
Girl. So in a bid for eye candy,
very erotic scene. I'm like, this is so weird to see them talking in a steam room.
I think it was fine as someone who went to the gym and was in the steam room with a lot of people. It is a lot of display of manly men. I'm not mad at it.
What's happening?
They both look great. They're in good shape, but they were having a heart-to-heart as brothers, and Derek was drooling over them.
What day did this air? So I could go see.
What? Did they talk?
Flip of the week.
Yeah, what happened? I don't remember.
They were just talking about the situation with Lulu, and I think he actually told him about how they have trouble communicating with each other because of the feelings between them, and also the guilt over Sam. So they had a very nice heart-to-heart about their lives. Because his brother's gone, they are now acting like Dante and Chase are brothers, which works for me because, they worked together for years. They have kind of that mentor-mentee relationship when they were at the police department. So I really like this. Yeah. I like besties. I love it.
All right, so Ava flirts with some journalists at her office, which is interesting.
Nina was flirting first.
That which I didn't know, but someone pointed that out to me. I was like, "What?"
Yeah, he's famous.
I had no idea who he was.
You should always be able to clock when they put real people into a soap. Their acting
was bad. Like I can tell right away who was the actor.
I was like, "Oh, a real person. Why is this real person here?"
Who was he?
Some guy from the Golden Bachelorette. or Bachelor. I don't
No, I don't watch that.
He
Yeah,
had something to do with the wildlife photographs too. I don't know if he was a
yeah.
That's
photographer.
like CBS always puts the winner of Big Brother on Bold and the Beautiful, and
Oh, yikes.
it's never good.
No, they really should coach them a little more. Look, he was handsome. He was a little silver fox, and Nina was feeling herself in that scene.
She was giddy.
And I liked it. I liked seeing Nina flirt with a hot guy and it not being a complicated situation with somebody else's man. So it was nice.
So Ava comes in and interrupts, and turns out Ava knows the guy because he
from the gallery, yeah.
From the gallery, yes. And after he leaves, Ava is reluctant, but she asks Nina for a loan because she's a little short. Nina agrees. She says, why she doesn't know why she didn't ask her sooner. And
that's hilarious, though, because she's like, I had all that money, and I was married to Nicholas, and so I started spending, and then I thought, if that all goes to hell, I'll have the divorce settlement. And then I did until the Cassadine curse clawed it all back from me. And now I have nothing. And I was like, that's a succinct explanation of what's happened to Ava in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Also, Ava looked magnificent in her gold jacket.
Yeah.
I need her stylist.
Yes, she looks great.
I'm so terrible. I have no fashion whatsoever. I need Ava's stylist.
So Lucky's just been released for the hospital, and Liz taking him back to her house because she's going to be monitoring him because he needs supervision. And they they start kissing, and then they're happy to be alone, but they keep getting interrupted. First, Aiden interrupts them, but Aiden's going to a sleepover at a friend, so
they were excited to see Aiden, and he's like, "Oh, we're all going to stay here tonight." Well, first off, they get a basket from Carly. Carly drops off a get well basket. Then Aiden shows up, and he's apparently going out with his friends, and then he steals half the snacks from the basket. and then I think Rick shows up.
Laura shows up first.
Laura shows up and has dinner with them. Every trying to kiss.
Yeah, and they keep getting interrupted, and then Rick finally shows up with documents to clear of any wrongdoing at GH. And then Rick pushes Lucky's buttons as usual. And,
Lucky shouldn't be so easy.
Yeah. And then, outside.
It's not what I meant, Tommy.
Outside, Liz says her goodbye to Rick, and he says he wishes her the best. And then she gets back to Lucky, who is passed out on the sofa.
Well, it's funny because when he's talking, she's like, I'll be back and I'll walk you out. And of course, they snipe at each other. And then they go outside, and he's like, I need you to promise me that when you get into trouble and you need a lawyer, that I don't hear about it from somebody else. You call me. And she's like, well, I didn't know if I should because of our history and all that. And he's like, if I can ever do anything to help you, I will. So call me. And she goes, and be able to give Lucky a hard time at the same time. And he's like, yeah, that's a bonus. So she knows he was needling Lucky.
I have a soft spot for Rick and Liz.
I have a super soft spot for Rick and anything he does.
When we watched the Krampus episode, I was like, oh, it reminded me that I love them.
They're very sweet together, and I'm not against it. I do like the chemistry between her and Lucky, so I'm for this right now. But like Derek says, they tried to kiss all evening. They wanted to bang, I'm pretty sure. But they never got anywhere near that, because like even if they made out on the couch, I'm sure it would have ended Lucky passing out, because as much as he wants to say he's okay, he ain't. I know. But he was adorable, all curled up on the sofa, passed out. Very cute.
So Curtis tips the invader off about Drew, and there's a scathing officer. What do they call him? Congressman Cutthroat or something?
Yep.
I laugh when they
I've been saying that all week too to my mom. Every time we talk about it, I'm like, well, Congressman Cutthroat over here.
Laura, I love when Laura praises Curtis for this. It was great.
They high-fived.
Yes.
I love any scene with Laura and Curtis. I know I'm like secretly hoping they get together. That's just me, I know. But
I think that's just you.
It's only like 10 years between. I'm alone. I know.
Curtis tells him he needs to put out a damage control order because she's worried about the impact this is going to have on Scout. Curtis says no, it's not his responsibility because Drew is
a jerk.
He's a jerk. Yeah, basically.
Yeah, he goes, listen, I feel for Scout. She's a kid. She doesn't deserve any of this. But if we don't hold Drew accountable for all the crap he's doing, who will? Whose responsibility is that? Or we just let him do whatever he wants because we're worried about Scout. Shouldn't he be worried about Scout? Because he's not.
Yeah.
And Alexis is kind of like, yeah, you know,
Pretty much.
because how can you argue with that?
Right?
Curtis is a decent man, you know, you got to like roll with what he's saying. He's not doing it to be a scumbag.
Yeah. All right. Well, so we'll get to brainwash Willow. Willow is totally unfazed by this article, and she stands by Drew's side. Drew stalks her at the hospital to make sure that she's not affected by this and brings her flowers. And he wants to make sure that he still loves her.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry.
Yes. Yeah. That is an accurate description of what happened. He comes to the hospital because he needs to be on her 24/7 because he can't let anyone else talk to her about anything. Even when Carly talks to her and she comes up to talk, what did she want to talk to Willow about? The kids?
Yeah, she wanted to talk to her about to try to get through to her, and that moving in with Drew was a bad idea.
They keep telling her, they're like, if you move in with Drew and Michael comes back, you are so screwed. He's going to take those kids because you are disrespectful. And she's like, we're getting divorced. Who cares if I live with this psycho? And no, crazy. And like everybody's telling her that. And what's her name comes over and talks to her about Michael, Christina. And she's like, I talked to Michael and I video chatted with him and this is how he's doing and all that. And Willow's like, oh my God, no one's telling me how he's doing. Why would they?
Right, exactly.
You cheated on him with his uncle. Everyone hates you. Yeah. And then she's like, well, can I go and take videos of the kids so that Michael can see the kids because he misses the children? And she goes, absolutely. But you can't say anything bad about Drew when you do that.
Yes.
And Christina's like, these calls would not be about Drew. Who cares?
Not about Drew. It's about Michael seeing his kids.
Right. Yeah.
So.
But Willow is so concerned with how everyone sees Drew.
Yeah.
Including her current husband.
Mm-hmm. So we'll get to Carly going to see Nina and tells her they need to put their plan in their motion right away. And that's they're gonna stop Nina and Willow and Drew from moving in together at all costs. So I don't know how they're gonna do it, but it's gonna be fun to watch.
There's something they want from the house. Because remember they were trying to get Max to give them the key to get into the house. Right.
They want Nina to break in to find something against Drew.
Mm-hmm. So they want Nina to go into the house. So Carly's like, we got to do this ASAP. Yeah. And Nina and her are working together, and it's everything I could have ever dreamed of. I love it. I love it.
Are they they hate each other, don't they normally?
Yes. No, they still hate each other.
Okay, so it's kind of like the enemy of my enemy. Like,
yes, they hate Drew way more than they hate each other.
Way more than they hate each other. A lot of the reasons why they hated each other was Sonny based. So now that Carly's not involved with Sonny, Nina's not involved with Sonny, that takes a major element of friction away. Right. Obviously, Carly still hates her because of everything she did while she was in that scenario. But it is wearing off because they're starting to see each other more as allies against Drew. Mm. But Carly still hates her because she thinks she's stupid. And listen, she's kind of right. So, Nina does stupid stuff.
Wasn't it the same way with Liz and Sam, though? Once Jason wasn't a factor, didn't they get along?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, they do a lot of them. It took them a long time, though.
It did take them a long time.
It took them a long time. I think it was more about when Sam was a single mother. She started to understand how difficult Liz's life has been because Xander died and then Lucky was on drugs and left her. So she ended up raising 3 kids all by herself as a single mother. Yeah. And when Sam had to do that after Jason died, they started to bond over the fact that they were single mothers. That's when they really started to become friendly. And it was awkward and weird for me because they hated each other for so long. But I don't know what it is with the writers. Every once in a while, they're like, women like each other, right?
That's the thing.
All right. So this was a great scene. Rick visits Portia and tells her that she's could be facing criminal charges for screwing with Heather Weber's lab results.
He literally walks in that room and he's like, "You're screwed." Super. insanely screwed. Like, you have done the worst thing possible.
Right. Like, she could face jail time. She can not only lose her job, she could face jail time. She could.
She interfered in a criminal investigation, which would have kept an innocent woman in prison.
Yeah. So Portia is screwed at this point.
Yeah, she's screwed.
Portia thinks there's no stopping Drew now because Drew is going to find out that Curtis was behind the article and that he's going to expose her.
So she's like, I'm screwed. And Rick is just like, do the best you can to not be screwed. Yeah. And then he's like, good luck.
So later, Drew confronts Portia about this and suggests that Portia backs him for the pediatric sports thing. And Portia's like, I don't know if I can convince Curtis to write an article for Aurora about this.
I think Portia did an excellent job of getting Curtis on board. And also Drew kind of walked everyone into a corner because you can't turn around and say, man, I really hate this guy that's doing this thing in pediatrics to help children. But he's like, well, Portia will stand next to me and you can do an article on it, Curtis, because Portia's already said she'll do it. And Portia's like, don't put words in my mouth.
Right.
But okay, I'll do it. It's for the hospital. And Curtis is like glaring at everyone because you should. And when Drew leaves, Curtis goes, what are we doing here? And she's like, listen, it's for the hospital. So if you can get on board, it would be for the hospital. And he's like, I can see what you're saying. So, okay.
He agrees that it's best for the hospital. So
yeah, but then doesn't Jordan come in from her other storyline just to...
and says that Drew's out of control and they have to stop it. And yeah.
Jordan's been all over town by now because Jordan is in another storyline that Derek hasn't gotten to yet. So Jordan was with Isaiah at her apartment. Then she went from there to the Metro Court to meet with Jack Brennan. Then from there, she ran into Drew. And then from there, she went to the hospital. And all along, she's supposed to be going to a charity event. Jordan, like, why are you so overbooked today?
Overbooked. All right, let's talk about Ava and Christina for a second. Ava's really pissed off because she runs into Rick, and Rick tells her that she can't take Avery to the ballet because it's on Ava's week.
Yeah, Christina.
Yeah, and Christina, of course, reacts the way Christina would always react, over the top about it.
I get this. I understand this, but Christina deserves it, so I'm fine with it.
Right.
Because if she wasn't so horrible to Ava, Ava wouldn't feel the need to do this. But also, if she had never asked, there's bad blood between them. It's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah.
And she confronts Ava, and she's like, well, it's on my week. And she goes, you would make it so Avery can't go to the ballet? And she's like, no, I'm making it so I'm taking her to the ballet and you can't go. And I was like, yes.
I love that. I love her reaction. Was great too.
It's like I would screw Avery out of an entertaining evening.
All right, let's talk about Sasha and Willow for a second. So Sasha's going to GH for her doctor's appointment for, I guess, gynecologist. And then Willow turns out to be her nurse, and Willow accuses her of being after the Quartermain money and getting pregnant for that reason, which is ridiculous.
This is like what they've been saying. Like, Carly is 100% on the money. Willow feels guilty for what she did.
She does.
And now she's trying to justify it by saying everybody else is doing bad things and they're all just like me. Because Drew has been using that justification for weeks now. Anytime something comes up, Drew's like, well, Ned did this. Well, Tracy did this. Well, and it's just like, no, be responsible for yourself. And then Willow is attacking Sasha, saying, well, you slept with Michael's uncle too. And she's like, listen, Michael and I have been broken up for several years. It doesn't matter anymore. And then you're like, yeah, but Sam, and she was like, Sam and Jason had been broken up for many years. I'm not home wrecking here.
Exactly. And Sasha had a great
Except she is. She slept with Michael.
She is.
Oh, so Michael's the father?
Yeah.
Yes.
But because for custody reasons, they don't want anyone to get wind of that.
So they're
Right.
saying Jason's the father.
Yes.
Right. They both got drunk at the bar and slept together. It's not like Willow hadn't already been messing around with Drew for weeks, but it doesn't look good for the custody hearing. And also, Sasha wanted to raise the baby herself because she's weird and has weird morals.
Yeah. And I love when Sasha says, you just blew up your life for with sleaze like Drew.
He's a sleaze, and you don't want to admit that he's a sleaze, and that's not my problem. That's your problem.
Yeah.
Sasha is like, the best thing about Sasha is, even though she's making insane decisions, she's so solid in what she believes that you can't shake her. She's unflappable. So Willow comes at her with all this nonsense, and Sasha just cuts straight to the heart of it and goes, oh yeah, you're guilty because you slept with a scumbag and now you have to deal with it.
Yes.
And you ruined your whole life. Michael was great. You ruined your whole life for this.
Mm-hmm.
So it was awesome.
All right, well, let's get to Lucas in Miami. So
Yeah.
Lucas is in Miami. He's at the bar. He's having a couple drinks. He decides to go up to his room for the night, and
He's getting tanked at the bar.
Yeah, and then he finds a credit card on the floor, and it turns out it's the credit card of this guy Marco.
Hot guy.
Hot guy. And he and Marco get to talking and flirting.
Me and Lucas trauma dumps all over this guy for about 20 minutes.
Really did.
Yeah.
About his relationship with Brad and about the whole Wiley scenario and everything.
Perfect recap for the audience, but man, if I were that guy, I would have dipped so fast.
Oh yeah, they share.
He's like, by the way, aren't you still in love with your husband? He's like, yeah, but let's bang.
so let's bang. So he takes Lucas's room key, and I'm assuming they have sex. We don't really see, but
They should show it.
Did they kiss?
They did.
They kissed at the bar. It looked like they were going to share a night together. Whether or not that happens, because they didn't really go back to it yet.
This is a continuity error that I noticed, but I would only notice because I'm watching 93. Lucas said he was allergic to shellfish, and in 1993 he is diabetic. So
I know he's diabetic.
Yeah,
he's definitely diabetic.
Yeah,
still.
But they don't mention this at all. So
I think he said that as a joke because the guy said either I'm buying you a drink or I'm going to send over a plate of calamari, and he says I'm allergic to shellfish. Calamari is not shellfish. It was a joke from a drunk guy.
But also
that's how I read it.
Regarding the diabetes, if he was a kid and had diabetes, I think you can grow out of that juvenile
You can.
diabetes. So maybe
you can, but they never mentioned it again, I don't think.
No, they don't.
Oh. It was like one of those storylines that was a storyline when they used to care about the hospital.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now they don't care about it.
They kind of used it as like another reason why he should be with Bobby when Tiffany was trying to keep custody of him. Because
she was a nurse and Tony's a doctor and Tiffany is a walk-up actress. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so Charlotte, Anna, and Jason are on their way back to Port Charles on a plane. Anna calls Brennan and arranges for a reunion with Lulu and Charlotte. So that was cute.
She did it because Charlotte wanted to immediately call Lulu. And Anna's like, that might not be safe. So what we need to do is get the WSB to escort her there, but we could only trust Jack. And Jason's like, no, we can't. We don't trust that guy. And she's like, we trust him enough. And Jason's like, all right, whatever. And then Jack has to leave his meeting because he was having a meeting. Like, this is the whole thing. All of this is happening while everybody's at the Metro Court. So Carly, Maxie, and Lulu are at the Metro Court having dinner. Jack is having dinner with Jordan. Jordan goes off to another storyline. Jack gets up and he goes over to the table and he's just like, Lulu, you got to come with me. Yep. And she's like, no, kiss my ass, because she's Lulu. And Carly's like, no, it's okay. You should go with him. You should trust him. And they do. Even though just like 5 minutes earlier, Carly was staring at him at the table with Jordan because she didn't trust him. And then Maxie's like, why are you staring over there? Go get your man. And she's like, I can't because I can't trust him, blah, blah, blah. And Maxie's like, what do you want out of this relationship? Do you want this to be a good time or a long time? Because, you know, if you're not going to marry him, go get your man.
Right.
Because she's right.
She doesn't want to get married ever again. So
it sounds like Maxie is starting to become herself again. Like,
yeah.
use that.
Yeah. She is. She's number one. She's the voice of the audience 24/7. Because like she says things we're thinking, and she'll just be like, "Why would you do that? That's stupid." Like she used to say that to Nina all the time when Nina was sleeping with Drew. She's like, "This is a bad plan, and I don't like this for you."
Brooklyn walks in on Gloria, Lois, and Gio playing bingo, and it was like old school bingo. And
no, with the stamps
with the stamps,
and the cards,
right?
Church bingo.
And Yuri was calling the letters and numbers.
Okay, so first off, I love seeing Yuri. I also love the way they taught him to call bingo like it was 1955. That was really fun.
Yeah.
It was so funny because he kept saying, "Be something like your mama's left outside," or whatever. It was like really weird. And then Gio's like, "Oh, I have to go." And Yuri stops and he goes, "I will bring your car around."
All right, so Brooklyn lashes out, and I forget why she lashed out. I just watched it.
Because these two idiots knew all about it and nobody talked to her about it, and they're all acting like they don't want to talk about it. And she's like, "None of you mentioned shit." And then Gloria's like, "Well, you were so mad. I didn't think you wanted to talk about it." And she's like, "Oh my God, you guys are ridiculous." Right. And she's worried because she's like, if Gloria knows and her mom knows, who else knows? Mm-hmm. And Gloria's like, "I didn't tell anyone. I didn't even tell the priest at church. I told no one." He's like, "In the vault. I have so many secrets in the vault. I wonder what secrets are in that vault." Right.
And Gloria tells Lois that the secret needs to see secret just because of Brooklyn's reaction.
She's like, "Look at how upset she is about this. This is why we can continue to lie to her forever, because we're good parents."
Yes.
And I'm like, this is bad. But I love Gloria, so it's good to see her.
Yeah, it was good. It's always good to see Gloria.
Yeah.
Sonny wrapped up an appointment with Isaiah, and Christina and Rocco show up. Sonny says that he's just under the weather and there's no need for Christina to worry. Christina tries to get the truth out of Isaiah to no avail. She's never heard of doctor-patient confidentiality, apparently.
No idea what HIPAA is.
Nope. And
he's like, "Well, I'm his daughter, so you should just tell me." And he's like, "How about no?" And she's like, "Yeah, but if he was in the hospital, you would tell me." And he's like, "How about I wouldn't?" And she's like, and then Sonny walks in and she goes, "He already told me what's wrong with you, so just fess up." And Isaiah's like,
"No." Yeah.
And he looks at Sonny, he's like, "I didn't tell her anything. I don't even know why I'm here."
So Isaiah ends up driving Rocco back home, and Christina grills Sonny, and Sonny actually confesses that he has a heart issue, which I was surprised about.
Because the stress of having her constantly asking him for the next 400 years would probably be more than just telling her what's up.
Yeah.
Of course, telling Christina means you just told everyone else, because she's the worst secret keeper in the world.
Absolutely. Everyone will know. And Christina realized this is why he dropped the custody suit, because it was too much stress on him.
And on Avery, he's smart in this scenario, because that would have been drawn out forever. And the one who suffers is Avery, because she actually loves both her parents. She doesn't know they're both jerks. Like, she has no idea.
Yeah.
Carly's Avery's mother?
No.
Eva. Okay.
Yeah.
Carly is Donna's mom.
Oh, okay.
So Carly shows up at Brennan's room. Carly has changed her mind and she wants to explore a relationship. And people say that Chris McKenna and Laura Wright don't have chemistry, but
they're liars
in these scenes. They had great chemistry, actually.
No, that was hot.
In these love scenes, yeah, they were hot.
That was hot. And it was old school. Like they do the whole sex music scene, all that. Yeah. And then you see them in the big fluffy robes and they're laying in the bed talking. And apparently he was very good. She did not want him to get out of the bed.
Nope.
And then when she was by herself, she was like, so apparently he's no slouch.
Yes. So Brennan says he's going to take a shower. He invites Carly to go in with him, but Carly says she's going to wait for the room service. And as she's about to get in, there's a knock on the door. So Carly goes out to the lobby and gets a bottle of champagne. And then Valentine comes out around the corner.
Pops out around the corner. And I was like, there's my man. I got really excited.
Yes. So I wonder what he's up to.
Yeah. Murder. He's going to try he's going to try and cut a deal with Jack because he wants to stay in town with his daughter.
Yeah. Maybe he's back for good now. That would be fun.
He was on another show. I don't think that show's been continued, so he's probably available again. And I love him, so I hope he stays.
I hope so too. Yeah.
Few things we didn't really touch on it. Lulu brought Charlotte back to Laura's, and then surprised Laura with Charlotte, like she didn't know she was back. And then they also brought in Rocco and Dante. So because the entire time I was like,
right,
will you call Rocco? Like he doesn't know anything. You're the worst mother ever. Like,
right.
He's terrible to Rocco.
And I also have to talk about Trina's surprise party as well.
Oh shoot, yeah, Trina's surprise party. That was awesome.
Yeah. So Ava interrupts her and Kai, and she calls Trina and says that she's locked out of the gallery and it's freezing, and she needs her to get over there right away. So it turns out to be a ruse.
And hangs up.
Yes, very quickly. And it turns out to be a ruse, and it's a surprise party for Trina. Kai's there, Stella, Laura, Curtis, Portia, Gio, and Emma are there. Mm-hmm. And Stella says she's so happy that Trina is, moving on, and it's great to see her like this. And, they start to open gifts, and then Emma gives her a book that Spencer once gave Trina, and it takes a toll on her emotionally, and she has to excuse herself. I felt bad for her.
Yeah, she goes home. It's the same book he gave her that was like to Trina, something about the love we both share for art.
Right.
So it was like a huge Spencer reference. They actually mentioned Ace too. Ace sent a present. Right. He's a baby, so that's obviously from Laura and Kevin. Jocelyn sent a sound machine because Trina's having trouble sleeping. But Kai was funny because they were teasing each other about how many dates they've been on, and Trina was disqualifying every one of their dates. She was like, no, that one doesn't count because, I didn't know it was a date when they went to the Savoy. And then he's like, well, what about the time where we hung out here? And she goes, no, that wasn't a date either because we went as friends. And he's like, well, how many dates have we been on? And she's like, none.
All right. Well, Karen,
you're listening a little bit. Yeah.
You mentioned that Lulu takes Charlotte to Laura's place and calls her and Laura and her.
Yep.
And then Rocco and Dante show up, and then they also have a reunion. And that's kind of
it's just one by one, all of them end up there. It just drove me crazy because at no point did Lulu contact Rocco until they had Charlotte all the way back at Laura's, and she was at Laura's for a hot minute before she had Rocco and Dante come over. And the thing is, Rocco has been out of his mind because he's the one that got the text message from his sister, and then Jason went out and he hadn't heard anything about it. He actually tells that to Sonny, and Sonny goes, yeah, well, you made the right decision because Jason will come back with your sister, no problem. Anna and Jason can handle it. But then he goes, but if they don't, I'll take over and I'll do it if they don't come back soon. So like Rocco has every murderous person in town trying to go find his sister. And she's already on the way back and nobody's thought to tell him anything.
Yeah. All right. That's all I got. Do you have anything else, Karen?
It was a great week. It was a lot of fun. Portia did great. I loved her this week. She's really growing on me. Normally, I don't particularly like Portia because she's not in usually these great storylines, but they really moved her front and center, and it's awesome.
Yeah, she's doing.
Also, more Curtis.
Yeah, she's doing great.
I love Curtis.
I think they heard us. We're like, Portia's not.
Every week we're like, Portia just sits at the hospital, waits till someone dies, and then comes in to tell you about it, and she loves it. And now they're like, well, maybe we'll give her a storyline. She's great. But we haven't seen anything. Terry hasn't been on in forever. But neither is Yuri. And since Yuri is dating Terry, maybe we're going to see her again.
That'd be nice.
But I miss her, actually, because she was the nice member of the of the chief of staff team.
Yes. Howie, do you have anything you want to add?
No, it sounds like it was a fun week. A lot of what I have to say, I guess, is speculation, so I'll save it for
that.
All right, well, we'll wrap up this edition of Queers and Soaps. Please join us on Patreon for our exclusive GH coverage. We'll be discussing some speculation, and we have a clip of the week to watch. This week's nominees are Brooklyn and Lulu's confrontation.
Awesome.
Yes. Rick tells Portia that she is screwed. And Emma goes after Drew at the crypt.
Awesome.
So please join us and find out who won. Thank you again, and we will see you in 2 weeks, and we will be recapping 2 weeks at that time. So we will see you then.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.